Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Vance Williams out of Seattle, Washington, here in the United States. Welcome to my morning Forex trading show. It's Thursday, August 14th, and let's see. On top of the price analysis today, I'll be sharing the most repeated price pattern in Forex trading. I've done that before, but when it's good for you, it never really gets old. But knowing that pattern is important because it makes the best pattern for achieving your first goal, which is consistent profit. For those of you who are coming from YouTube, there's a lot of people who do that, and you're looking for 8 things. Right here on my site, on the right side, forexhardwar.com, you'll find a link. We've got a new page coming here on the front, but you'll get 8 things and my other book, The First Battle, which is really about building a solid foundation. So you guys can get that there. Let me see. Okay, well, let's hang on just a second. I need to make an adjustment here. Oh, there we go. Let's get right to price. Come to think of it. Okay, so what we have on the screen right now is a Euro 30-minute chart, and it's a little bit busy right now. So let me just kind of highlight some things and delete them. This was yesterday, and I just want to show you something here. The euro, I want you to notice something. The moves down are about 50 pips, and you can just see it over and over again. Here, 50 pips. And so I think with the indecision, summertime, and all of that, you need to be a little bit sensitive to what price has been doing. Now, the up moves have been going about 70, 80. And so one of the things I think you really did need to be sensitive to is yesterday when price moved up 74 pips. Since that's kind of the top end of what it's been doing, it was probably less likely that it was going to pull back and push again. And so it takes a little bit more experience to see that. And there's some great techniques that you can use to help you anticipate market conditions like that. Like, for example, if it moves super fast, there might be a minimum or maximum range of advance that you would trade. There's definitely some ways to deal with this, so you're not just kind of like arbitrarily trying to figure out what's going on out there in the world. On the pound yesterday, I want to show you that real quick. This was a very unusual move. In fact, this is a 30-minute chart, but if we were to drop down to the 1 minute, price moved over 60 pips in 1 minute. And in 5 minutes, it moved 120. So, what you've got to do as a trader is you've got to learn to recognize what's usual and what's unusual. And this is very, very unusual. And people will say, well, can you trade fast-moving data like that? You could. You really could if you had a little experience, but the problem is the brokers aren't going to give you a good price. You're going to see price sitting right in this area, and you're going to go to push a trade, and when you find out your order didn't get picked up till down here, and price may be up here, okay, but because of the circumstances, the brokers stretch it out so you actually can't get in at the price that you want. And they warn you about that. I mean, you have to leave it open to total variation. But the point is even if you were fantastic, most of the retail brokers are not going to allow you to get in at the price that you want. So the answer is no. In most cases, you can't trade this at all, even if you're great. So with respect to now, moving into today's analysis, we're still in that story. We're still what's happening here is a total move of about 180 pips. Price has not been moving that much. I personally would like for all of this to just shake out. For this, if you just think of people having a party, the party's still going on. You want the party to be over, everybody to go home, and then a new event to take place. That's the way I look at this. So I wouldn't be looking at a trade on the pound right now. On the euro, it's really just squeezed into a range. I think we're probably at the at the peak of indecision as far as what's been happening here in the summertime. So there's really not a great trade on the euro right now. I mean, if we look here, we've got a move of about 42 pips. It's been moving between 50 and 70. So, you can see this pull back and already pushed again right here. So, in effect, even if this was tradable, it's already played out. And so, really, the euro is just kind of squeezed into this this wedge like this. And so we need to move below here or a move above here, or just get some room, some pause, and give us some, some range of movement so that we can get in and out of the trade. All right, so that's a little bit about today. The Australian dollar, going to need a move. Let me just label this for you. A move above 93.18 for a trade there. And on the Kiwi, let's try. We've got some nice trending on the Kiwi right here. Let's take a look at the 5-minute and see if we can see anything there. That move there looks a little bit small. Yeah. Well, basically, right now, what you would need is you would need this to stretch out and to 20 pips or more before it pulls back to 38.2, and it's already pulled back to 38.2. So, it's just not giving you what you need. Now, since I'm actually talking about the pattern, let's go ahead and move and talk about the most repeated pattern in the most repeated price pattern in forex trading. I've talked about this for years. This has always been true. It always will be true. If you have studied Elliott wave cycle, I studied that for a couple of years. The only thing I use about that is waves 3, 4, and 5. The other waves are, there's a lot of other interesting things you could do with Elliott waves, but in my opinion, none of them are high probability except for the 3, 4, and 5 waves. And basically, a 3, 4, and 5 wave looks something like this. It's a strong price move, and when price does make a strong, clear move, it will pull back to 38.2 or more and make another push, and it'll do that more than 90% of the time. And that's just the way it works. And you can see it here. Well, I'll illustrate this for you. Right here, it goes up. Now giving me the line. It pulls back right there to 38.2, and then it pushes again. Now, most everybody has been doing this for a while knows that, but you also need to know one other thing. You need to know how to identify when there is new movement happening in the market. And the way that you do that, and I'm not going to be able to cover it all on today's show, but the way that you do that is, first of all, you have to identify the trend direction. Secondly, the trend has to be advancing. So as you can see here where I've got my fib starting point, this is actually moving beyond the former high. It's advancing. And then the next thing you need is you need a move of 20 pips or more to get out of the range of noise. That's 16, but it still shows you the pattern. You can go less after you get more skilled, but and then once that's in place, more than 90% of the time, it's going to pull back to 38.2 or more and push again, and that's the pattern. And of course, this pattern works better on, well, it works a little differently on the pound and the euro. Price tends to retrace more on the Australian dollar and Kiwi, for example. But there's a lot of nuances to it. For example, if the trend's getting stronger versus weaker, then you can go with a smaller range of advance. If the trade is getting weaker, not stronger, or the trend is getting weaker, not stronger, you want a little bit more of a range of advance, showing that the buyers or sellers have more strength. So there's all kinds of little nuances that you can learn along the way. But this is really a great place to start. And in my book, The First Battle, I think I show you this along with some other basics. But this is the start. Now, once you have this pattern that's pushed up, it's going to pull back and push again. The only things you need now are high probability stop, high probability entry, and high probability target. Okay, everything within a trading decision has a probability associated with it. There are 5 core elements that affect your probability of winning any trade, and you need to know what those are. If you don't know exactly what those are, that's like, oh gosh, that's like not knowing if you should go on a red light or a green light. I mean, it's that basic. So you really need to know what affects your probability of winning, just like you need to know in poker, which cards beat what other cards. And then the second major part of trading is training yourself to execute well. We're just not predisposed to execute high-risk decisions well because of the emotions that are generated and how those emotions affect us. So it's really important, kind of similar to the Army or police in high-speed chases or firemen running into a burning building. Anytime you're triggering that old brain to create fear, you're not going to do well unless you're trained to do X, Y, Z over and over again. And so that's the other part of it. But this pattern repeats over and over again. I could just show you all day long. You can just watch it, see how this comes down, pulls back, pushes again. It's just the way it works. Now, where that will fail very often, and we'll just look at the euro, is when it's coming in near the top of a range or the top of the average movement. Here, it comes down, it makes a little tiny pull back and push, but look, it's coming right into this range. So, and that's pretty obvious. It's at the bottom of its daily movement, it's hitting an obvious barrier, it's probably not going to behave the way we would expect it to behave. So, let me just shift back to my live feed here. So with that, if you want to learn more about my trading program, I'm really easy to find. Just write to me. I mean, there's got to be 5 or 6 different ways to find me on my website and on the internet. But Vance at Forex Art of War is the easiest way. I want to thank you all for being here this morning. I hope you got just one idea that's going to help you with your trading, and you can always write to me if you have any questions. I'm happy to take your questions offline, and also very often we'll take them on the show as well. So to our team, I'll see you guys coming up at the, well, it's about, what is that, 50 minutes? I don't like to say 50 minutes. It always sounds like 15. But anyway, about 50 minutes, we'll get together for the New York Stock Exchange Open in our live trading room. Thank you, everyone. Have a great one.